Okay, I was just taking stuff off, nothing really to video, but I ran into a potential issue, so I thought this was video worthy in case it actually turns into something. So what I'm taking off is a water pump, and they're a little 10 millimeter, but they go pretty deep into the engine, the block, and a couple of them were pretty easy, but they might have rust on it or something, and then a couple of the bolts were really hard and they have a lot of carbon buildup. Okay, I don't know exactly how the internals of this engine works, but I ran into this one and I felt like I was about to break the head off. So if this turns into an issue, I want to, for the future, I want to know it. So I wanted to get the camera and see if when we drop this water pump, is it going to show us a disaster? Like, I'm trying not to think the worst, but I just don't know because it is so hard to pull out. So I wanted to get the last little bit on camera. Okay, that's free. If there's something to talk about, then I'll turn the camera back on because I'm not going to film all this. It's just me taking stuff off. Whoops, I forgot I had the mic. Yeah, I'm just concerned on why there's carbon on some and rust on the others. We'll see. I'll just keep you posted. Oh, actually, wait. We can tell if it's 6 liter. I think we have a 6, boys. 6.0. That says 6.0L. Boy, oh boy, I'm happy. Because a lot of this stuff, even if there was an issue, it could have been repaired. I'm just so happy it's a 6 liter. So I guess there was another reason for me grabbing this camera. Also, I'm going to have to run up to O'Reilly's because I think somebody said that's a 24 millimeter. And I don't have a 24 millimeter. And I'm sure I'll be up at O'Reilly's quite a bit. So maybe I'll talk to them like, hey, y'all want some free advertisement? I have about 20 to 30 million viewers every day. So they'll probably give me the tools for free because I'm just that big of a deal. All right, enough BSing. All right, I got a quick update here. It could be nothing. Like I said, I don't know that much about engines. I don't remember ever seeing 2 gaskets. You can see there's 2. And there's an awful lot of oil around them. As you can see, we've taken a bunch of stuff off. The front is clean. All I lack is that manifold, intake, and then the heads, and we're free. And then it's just a short block needs to be disassembled. So I wanted to get this. Oh my gosh, it's 3. Yeah, it's 3 of them. Maybe that's how they're designed. I don't know. I just want to get it on camera. I'll know soon enough when I start researching gaskets. I know for a fact my 350 did not have multiple layers like that. It could have been 3 layers pressed together, but it did not come apart like that. I promise you that. But, also, there was 1, 2, 3. There were like at least 3 bolts that were broken off inside. You can see there, that one's broken off. That one's broken off. So, and there's some on the other side too. So I'm going to have to be digging these out or have the machine shop do it. There's one that's broken off. There's one that's broken off. So I'm not really looking forward to that because they're inside the block. And exhaust manifold bolts are famous for being hard to get out. But I'm not going to stress too bad. I know there's somebody out there that can get them. I just hope it doesn't cost $500 to extract 3 or 4 bolts. All right, I just want to do that quick update. Took this passenger side off. This exhaust manifold cracked. I think it would still function, but that's kind of strange. I almost think these are not the original ones, or they took them off or something, because first of all, these bolts were way too easy to get out, and they were already broken one. Okay, so see that one? That's a lot easier to get out. than this one. It's buried in there. So somebody has messed around with this engine. That's certain. And the same thing on this side. The layered gaskets. So who knows? This is the problem with buying anything used, especially from a junkyard. There is no telling. It's history. It's literally complete roll of the dice. But again, all I need is the block in the head. So, all right, we got this basically torn down, all the accessories and everything. I lack the intake, and there's a bunch of dirt and stuff in here. So once the intake, actually this is different than the small block, the Gen 2. There's a tray under there, but what I was going to do is when I lift the intake, I don't want all that junk to fall inside the engine, but I forgot there's a plate down there. I'm going to blow it off anyway. Got the compressor set out, got a blower here. Also, I want to get a little bit of footage of taking those bolts off, little tiny bolts, and lifting the intake off, because I'm pretty sure I'm just going to do a really short video. This will be the video, and I don't have much footage, so I'm just going to get some B-roll of working on this. I'm not anticipating any kind of problems out of these, and hopefully they're all the same size, because I don't want to have to do separate bags for each one. So we'll see. I think I already took 2 out and put them back in. I'm not sure how much it has to be lifted up, but hopefully we can get it off with the chains on there. We're about to find out. Little hose, no big deal. Beautiful. Beautiful. I am out of room on the cart. All right, I'm gonna go get a box. Actually, let's do this. That's that plate I was talking about. See all that junk, mud daubler. I'm gonna blow that out. Try to keep it out of the intakes. Yeah, that's cathedral port. That's why they call it a cathedral port. I am still curious if this is a Gen 3 or a Gen 4. I don't know if the Gen 4 means rectangular port. I'm not sure. I'm happy with either one. It's a 6-liter. That's all I'm happy about. All right. I'm going to blow this off and then get a box to put that in. I'm just going to keep it as is. The cleaner we can make it now, the cleaner my shop will stay. If I had to guess, I would guess that these are the knock sensors and some other sensor. Maybe just knock sensors. I've heard that they're on the inside of the intake, and I put 2 and 2 together because I'm a super genius. So these are all 13s, and it looks like there's some 12s on the end. There's a dinky little one on the end. It's like a 10 millimeter. Of course they have to do that. GM does the stupidest stuff sometimes. A lot of times, actually. All right, I'll cut this off unless there's something noteworthy. Maybe like pulling the heads off. Okay, we ran into an issue. Looks like those sensors have to be taken out before this plate comes out. And that looks a little bit bigger than what I have. I've got a few loosies. So I'm gonna go check and see if I can get those out. Some socket. All right, it's my lucky day. It's a 7/8 socket, in case somebody's wondering. Seems to fit. We'll see if it comes off. Oh yeah. I'm gonna label these rear and front. I don't know what they are. I suspect they're the knock sensors. That's weird. I did not expect that. I expected some sort of electronics. It's kind of grimy down in there. Alright, I don't know if it matters which one's in the front, but I'm going to label them just to play it safe. It takes an extra 30 seconds. Alright, this is the first for me. I've never seen what's up under here, so it'll be fun. Wow, that's spotless. That is spotless. I anticipated some grime at least. There is some grime on that, assuming it's a knock sensor. There's some grime that got in there, but as you'll see, it is spotless. See the cam down in there? Yeah, see, there's some grime that came through that knock sensor, but that's it. So I guess there's not a whole lot going in here. All right, I did find an issue. I don't think it's major. That's probably why the grime was in there. That's probably supposed to seal it off, and it's dry. No big deal. All right, I'm actually out of room on the tray, the cart. So I'm going to take the cart and that, and I'm going to make room for the heads, because that's the only thing left besides the internals. Man, this is hard enough with the camera. Now this external mic is not my favorite thing in the world. All right, we're reset. Now we can go finish tearing this sweetheart apart. All right, I just realized something. We're going to have to put the engine on the stand because I'm currently using the heads, which, man, makes me uncomfortable. But using the heads to hold it up with the cherry picker. So we're going to have to put it on the engine stand. So now's the moment of truth. Is it going to be able, am I going to be able to move it around or anything? I'm sure I will with just the block and the heads. So I'll get on it. Oh no. Well, the engine turns over. Well, the engine turns over. I completely forgot about this. I might be able to stick a screwdriver in here. It's wanting to spin on me. So let me figure this out. What Hercules tightened this? What specimen of a man was so strong that he tightened it that much? I don't want to meet him. He's probably incredibly handsome too. Oh yeah. Oh, that felt really good. You know, I wonder if I sit this down on top of the flywheel on purpose, if it will have enough pressure. Yeah, let me let more pressure off. Oh man, I am bleeding like crazy. I thought it was transmission fluid. All right, now let's hoist it back up, pull her off, and put her on the, actually it looks like there's something else back here that needs to come off too. I'm not sure what it is, but it looks like it has something to do with the camshaft. Stand by. Yeah, the small blocks didn't have this thing. I don't know what it is. Looks like a two-piece. That's one, and this is separate, I believe. I have a suspicion the Ryobi might actually pull those off. I used to be really good at guessing the sizes. I have not been good at all on this new engine. New, as in compared to the 80s and 90s. Yeah. I don't know what that thing is, so I'm going to call it the rear cover. I was hoping I wasn't going to have to pry hard. I knew it'd have RTV on it though. Oh man. Oh. Looks like there's another layer of metal back behind it. So I gotta be really careful with this. It might be a gasket. I imagine it is. Oh no, I hate this. I'm glad I stopped. Up under here, there are two screws that screw all the way into here. I'm glad I stopped. I have a level of what I'm comfortable with, and I was right at it, and I'm glad I stopped because I would have cracked it. So we're gonna hoist it up, take these two little 9 or 10 millimeters off, and then we should be home free. It still looks like a two-piece to me. Forcing something and giving great effort, they are very distinct. I'm really glad I didn't force it. I can't tell, it looks like it's connected to the valve cover, or excuse me, oil pan. I can't believe I didn't see one person do this online. Oh, it is a two-piece. Yeah, there was a line here. You could tell it was a two-piece. All right. You know, I have heard people talk about that, how you always replace this gasket. I was thinking it was on the front though. All right, it looks like we can put this on the stand with the oil pan still on, which makes sense to me. So we're gonna try to get on the stand. I've got my concerns. If it's gonna try to twist on me, doing this by yourself is a lot different than with friends. We'll figure it out. I'll get some footage later. This will be boring. I totally forgot about the microphone. Found something real wonderful. There's supposed to be a bolt hole there for bell housing. Now granted, it's still 6 bolts, but that needs to be addressed. I'm sure somebody can tap that out. I might even be able to if I think I do have the right tool. I've just never used it. All right, I'm gonna have to do something with this microphone in the future. I can't be doing all this. Getting grease all over it, and it's expensive. And quite frankly, I have nothing really brilliant to say anyway, so it's kind of just a waste. But I want to get the last part of this. I got the bolt holes started. All right, boys, looks like we've gotten halfway there. Beautiful. 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 We did it. Now let's see how heavy it is. Oh yeah, I can at least move it now. Awesome. Actually, I am going to move it inside. The heat is my enemy. Yeah, I think I can get through that door, for sure. Cool, cool, cool. I'm going to actually drain the oil out here. Another 10 pounds. Another 10 or 12 pounds off. I know it doesn't matter if it's clean, but I can't out of principle. You can't do something your whole life and expect me to stop. I'm not putting a dirty bolt back in there. Dude. I'm about to show you why I was nominated for the strongest man in the world 7 years in a row. Oh great, I got that bump and this. I hate to say it, but I'm gonna have to come in through here. I can't get that threshold, not with it digging deep like that. I'm gonna have to just move my car. It needs to be California dusted anyway, but I'm gonna lose all that air conditioner. Of course, it's when I turn off the camera, all the good stuff happens. I was able to pick one half pump at a time, stick wood under there. But mostly it was just my brute force. My strength from a different country. I mean, a different dimension. All right, I'm gonna go pass out now. This is just one of those moments I wanted to just pause and take it all in. It's been a long time coming. A lot of work, a lot of preparation, a lot of thought. And yes, it's just the beginning. This is a major milestone. So I'm gonna moving on from that brilliant thought I just said. I'm going to vacuum this out. I was looking in here. I don't really want to get that down on the engine, even though it's getting cleaned. Oh, and I forgot to mention in a previous video, the $400 at the machine shop. Dadgummit, excuse me. Let me start over. The $400 at the machine shop, 4 of the 8 or 900, that includes cleaning it. They go through it, they clean it in one of their big tanks. So I'm not going to spend much time cleaning it. I just forgot to mention that in the last video. Not that it matters, I'm just trying to check off every box as I go. And here's a sensor. That could be a cam position sensor or something like that. It's kind of firm in there and I don't want to break it. I'll possibly be replacing it, but I just don't need to break anything. So what I'm going to do, and this is surprising to me, those technically are head bolts, but I don't think those are the ones that they have all the force. Those are the ones with all the force. Oh yeah, these are 317 heads. I know I wrote it down, but I'm not sure if I said it out loud. Fortunately, I mean, they're good heads, but they're the least compression because they have the largest chamber. But according to the guys who know what they're talking about, that's actually a good thing for forced induction, aka turbocharge. So it's going to work out just fine. Also, if I'm not happy with it's either 71 or 74 cc. You can mill these down. So that's just shortening them, taking some metal off and making them higher compression. I'm not going to do that because if I can do flat top pistons, I think it's going to be around 10 or 10.5 to 1, and that is more than enough for me. That's just NA. It's 10, 10.5. I've seen different numbers, but it's between 9.5, which I would have been fine with 9.5. 9.5 to 10.5 with flat top pistons. And if I was really worried about it, I could do dome pistons, but I'm not going to. I think even if I had dished pistons, I would be perfectly happy with it. This is not a race car. It's a daily with a light turbo and light NOS. It's not trying to break any world records. All right, I'm just rambling at this point. I might get some footage of that, and because it's just really exciting. Actually, that is one of those ASMR things where you can just see things getting cleaned up, like popping zits, and I don't know what else. I don't really watch that stuff. All right, I'm done. All right, I can't deal with that microphone anymore, so I'm just going to try to speak up a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and pop these valve covers off. It blows my mind that they would use such tiny bolts. I don't understand why GM does this weird stuff. There they are. There they are. Oh yeah, they've got that old oil smell. Yummy. All right, well, I guess we ought to pop off the other side. I know this isn't the most exciting thing, but it would be nice to have a little bit of footage for the future. Beautiful. Look at that. Oh, it's not that big a deal. But earlier I was going around and like 2 or 3 of these are loose. That one's loose. So somebody's been in this recently. I know this one was loose. But they are AC Delco, which AC Delco makes a good spark plug, surprisingly. Let's see how it looks down in there. That is gonna be spotless, boys. Now, I'm not an expert, but that cam looks like it's got a pretty decent wear pattern. It's pretty centered up. I noticed earlier. It's not off to one side or lopsided. I'm excited. This is fun. It's way more fun being inside where I'm not dying of heat. I literally am dying of heat. In case I haven't mentioned it, I have a heat condition. I had a heat stroke in the Marine Corps. 107.4 degree temperature. Somehow I survived. Well, by the grace of God, I survived, but somehow I survived. But it permanently maimed me. So I was right about to go to Iraq too with my unit. I was in 2nd Recon Battalion out of Lejeune. And long story short, they cleared me medically because miraculously my body, first of all, I didn't die, which that week 2 people had died. One was Marine, one was Navy, up in Virginia Beach. They had died the same week as me with temperatures with like a degree and a half less than me, like 105.5 and 106 or something like that. They sent me to the medical board. I had to go to the hospital a bunch and do blood work. I didn't have any long-term damage that they could measure. Went back to recon school, and the HM1 Preston, he's the one who saved my life initially, but he knew about the heat stroke thing, that once you have a heat stroke, you're permanently maimed. He said, I'm going to keep an eye on you. Tell me if you feel funny at all. And I trusted him. Corpsmen are like top of the food chain Marines. They are Marines, even though they're Navy. Halfway through the day 2, I was feeling different. It was scary. I don't know how to explain it, but it was like I was drunk, but I wasn't. And I told him, I was like, hey, you wanted me to tell you? He's like, let me take your temperature. It was like 104.5. And I don't remember exactly what he said, but it was to the effect of, that's the end of the road. So I came back, got a bunch of medical work done. I was cleared medically, but the people who knew that it's in your brain, it's the hypothalamus. And once it's damaged, it doesn't repair. Like, allegedly, the brain does not repair. So there are other side effects from it, but the main one is my heat intolerance. So I'm not trying to be a sissy and go, oh, it's hot. I love the heat. I'm from Florida. I was outside my whole life. It completely wrecked my life because everything I like to do is outside, and I no longer could. Or I could in like I can't go hiking in the summer. I can't do pretty much everything in the summer. But that's the whole heat thing. It's not that I'm a bitch. It's that I have a legit medical condition that has completely, in a way, ruined my life. So that's why I'm excited to be back in this air conditioner. That's why I'm excited to be working on a hot rod. This thing, in not a lot of time, is going to be absolutely smoking tires. And yes, it's even going to turn over 35-inch tires. But I don't like doing burnouts that much. Do it, say you did it, go on. I can't stand these long burnouts that are like 20, 30 seconds long. It's like, you're wasting money. As much as I like a machine gun on auto, I hate seeing somebody dump a 200 round drum. It's such a waste of money. Same thing with the burnout. Do it in moderation. All right, I forgot what I turned this on for. I think it was the valve covers, but we'll see what comes off next. Smell that coolant immediately. I have no idea what this is. It's got its own little bag, and it's going to be called rear head. There's 2 of them. I'm going to mark each side. I'm probably being excessive, but I don't care. I'm doing this painstakingly by the book. I wanted to get a little video here. I wanted to get that red. That red must mean something. Oh, it's even rubbing off. Also, I was under the impression, for some reason, I thought that these rockers were on a rail and that they had bolts holding them down to the head. But that does not seem to be the case, unless they go through the rockers. I was, for some reason, thinking there were like 3 or 4 bolts, but maybe they are the actual rockers. Now, I'm doing a rocker trunnion upgrade, but I'm not sure if that means completely new rockers, so I'm going to keep these in their own baggies. You know, just cylinder 1, 3, 5, 7. They can each get their own bag. Oh, and I'll have to mark them exhaust and intake. But I just wanted to get that because I was planning on taking the rockers off but I thought it came off on just one whole piece, because to get to the head bolt, it's in the way. So it looks like I do have to take all the rockers off one at a time. It really doesn't matter what it looks like. It's going to be completely redone. Yeah, see that red film? It's probably just heat and a chemical in the oil, I'm sure, reacting with the aluminum. It's amazing. These little bitty pieces can make so much power. They can make a 6,000 pound car go 100 miles an hour. Engineering is amazing. All right, well, I'm gonna probably start taking these off. It's gonna be painstaking because I'm gonna have to put them all in a bag and label all of them. Yeah, I'll use tape. I'll just throw a big piece of tape on it, crunch it down, because I'm not going to be able to draw on this with marker. I'm going to complain again. Why would GM use such tiny sockets? That's like a 7 or 8 millimeter on such a vital part. Yeah, that's a 10, and it's probably, like I said, an 8. That's a 1/4 inch drive. Yeah, 8 millimeter. And then they put it that tight. Unreal. Actually, it would be nice if it all stayed together, and then I wouldn't have to put them in individual baggies, because I'm going to have to deal with the valves and the springs. Because I'm not sure what I'm replacing. I might end up doing everything. I'm just not sure. And it's, from what I understand, it's pretty important to keep them where they belong, especially the valves, because they kind of form like a groove, which you have to lap it, I believe it's called, like with the rubbing compound. Like, I'm going to do some more research and see how durable these valves are. And if the factory valves will handle 1,000 horsepower no problem, and they're not in too bad a shape, I'll probably just put them back in there. I've got enough stuff to buy as it is. I have to replace the entire car. So I'm not trying to be cheap, but I'm not trying to be reckless either. I don't think the bolt matters which hole it goes in. They're coming off one at a time. This is going to take longer than I thought. All right, I'm not going to do a video. It's just going to take way too long. But yeah, they're coming off one at a time. So I don't know why I thought that this was all one piece, but it's not. So I'll get some footage if it's interesting. All right, what I've done, yeah, it's a little tedious, but it's the best way that I can keep them organized. 2 bags per cylinder. 1 in, 1 exhaust. 3 in, 3 exhaust. So on and so forth. It's a little time consuming. Oh crap, no, I'm already. And it's actually opposite on the other side. The exhaust is first on the, I don't know which bank is which. I don't know if that's the left bank and that's the right, or if it's turned backwards. I don't know. Passenger side. Intake, exhaust, intake, exhaust. Go back this direction, it's exhaust, intake, exhaust, intake. Not that it matters, but I noticed it, so I figured I'd say it. All right, I'm going to start zipping these out. I'm going to have to figure out the valves I think I'm just gonna go ahead and order a tool, but it's not holding me up. So I wanted to get the engine and evaluate what I needed before I put in an order with Summit. You get the gist. I might actually get some video for a B-roll. Do the speed up thing. That's actually not as monotonous as I thought it was going to be. That only took a couple minutes. Well, the video's been on for 3 minutes. Yeah, that's not too bad. So I'm going to knock out the other side real quick. And then we'll bust out the heads. All right, there we go. That was a lot quicker than I thought it was going to be. Yeah, 2 or 3 minutes. Got the right bank, or passenger side and driver side. And then I'm going to keep these in the same box. I'm going to go on the same side. And I am going to label them. I'm sure that doesn't matter, but I'm just playing it safe. Actually, let me label them before I forget and mix them up somehow. Actually, I guess we'll take off some head. We'll start taking off head bolts. All right, I'm gonna break those loose, and when I go to take them off, I got enough B-roll of boring stuff. So I'm gonna break all these loose, and I'll come in with the Ryobi, and we'll, of course, I'll let you see what it looks like when they first come off. That's pretty fun. It's a 15mm bolt, if somebody cares. Wait, I think these are one-time use anyway, so I think they're kind of useless for this. I'm almost positive of that. I may have to pry it. I don't know. Nope. There she is. Okay, these trays do screw down. Man, I can't believe how good the cylinder walls look. I thought they would be rusted. Oh my gosh. I cannot believe what good a shape they're in. Dude, they look factory. Oh my goodness. Man, hat tip to the designers of this. I've heard that the head of the engineers was a racer. He raced small blocks. So basically this is like a hot rodder's dream with a unlimited budget, basically. That's why they're so powerful. Man, that is amazing. I thought they were going to be scarred and rusted. I bet that doesn't even need to be bored. Although I am, because I'm dead set on it at this point. Oh my gosh, I didn't realize how light they are. When I picked it up, I didn't pay attention, because I remember how heavy the iron blocks are. So this is a 3-piece. So maybe those exhaust gaskets, maybe that's just a newfangled way of doing it. I don't see anything major, but I'm not a trained mechanic. I don't see anything that sticks out to me. I guess that's the best way to say it. Yeah, I don't see any cracks or any extreme discoloration on one. I bet that motor would have run if I threw it in the Suburban and started it up. I bet you $1,000. It was hard not to do that, by the way. I made myself commit to rebuilding it. I was very tempted just to throw a turbo on the existing Vortec motor. I have been tempted to do every naughty thing, but we're doing it by the book. All right, I might get some B-roll of the next one. Look at that. That is absolutely a beautiful sight. I cannot believe how good the cylinder walls are. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say the honing scratches are still there. There are scratches that are horizontal. I cannot believe the good of shape. Oh, man. Okay, I could ogle it all day. If that's the word. Ogle, goggle. Gosh, I don't know. All right, well, it's coming together. Well, it's coming apart, slowly but surely. I talked to the guy at O'Reilly's. I might end up just replacing this. I don't want to, but it looks kind of raunchy. And I don't have a sandblaster. And it's a pretty vital part. That's gotta be cam. Yeah, I'm gonna wait. I'm not gonna break it. All right, I'm just shocked at how clean that is. This cart is indispensable. I had a cart on the builds when I was in high school, but it was behind my parents' house in the mud, covered with a tarp. So it was literally dirt. So I don't remember moving it very often. I have moved that thing 10 times already. I'm very, very fortunate. We used to use tree limbs as cherry pickers. It would bent over. That's how I figured out how heavy engines are. Made a cherry picker out of 2x4s, and it bent so much it wouldn't even work. I don't think it broke, surprisingly, but it just bent so much it wouldn't lift it. I have spent more time trying to get these bags open than I actually do getting the parts out of the vehicle. Oh yeah, it's coming off. Already teeter-tottering. Yeah, in less than 48 hours, this block is more than likely going to be at the machine shop. Which a machine shop is basically like a spa for engines. Like I said, I'm pretty sure these bolts are useless for heads, but they're really good for other stuff. Their lives are not over. You cannot do this with a iron block or iron head. Again, it's brand new looking. I am astonished. Now that feels like it has something right there, a little scratch. So yeah, I was gonna bore it anyway, but if there's justification, that's right there. Just tiniest little bit. Maybe a couple 1,000ths, maybe 1/1000th. I could just barely feel it. You can see it on that camera probably. Yeah, you can barely on the camera see it. Oh, yep, something there too. See, this is what I expected to find. I'm not surprised. What I'm surprised is there's not more. So we've got 2 on that side. And it's amazing how sensitive the human finger is. Yeah, we could actually, yeah, I want to turn the motor actually. What's that? Oh, okay. I didn't notice the dowel on this side. I wonder if it stayed with the head. Yeah. Okay. All right. Oh, let's take a look at the head. Yeah, I mean, from the minuscule amount that I know, it looks okay to me. I don't see anything major sticking out. Carbon, obviously. Should have run some injector cleaner. There's a saying, a red line a day keeps the mechanic away. And I've also heard it called an Italian tune-up. Going out and just ripping on your car, redlining it at least once a day, just in generally speaking. Apparently it's good for it. It blows out carbon and does a couple other things. So I'm not sure how legit that is, but it sounds like it makes sense to me. I do it quite often, and my car runs great. Both of them run great. So that's your tech tip for the day. Man, this filming stuff sucks. It sucks. Okay, O'Reilly's. I didn't notice it's a 1/2 inch. I thought it was, I needed a 3/8. Oh yeah, that is nothing. Wow. I thought I was gonna really have to pull it. That is unbelievable. That is so much smoother than the rebuilds I used to do. Now, actually, I can't remember how it was without the heads on. That might be it because it's got no compression. I expected more drag than this, but I guess I shouldn't have since it is broken in. I still don't know how many miles. I'm going to guess 150 to 250,000 miles on an 05 Yukon. It doesn't matter, but if I had to guess. That is smooth, man. I hate taking apart a perfectly functioning engine, especially factory. Even as good of a job as I'm going to do, it's not going to be as good as factory. It just won't. All right, this is going to be a quick, I'm going to do a short. If you're on the fence, if you have a 6.0 in your driveway, in your house, in your shop, and you're debating on what to do, I urge you to put some heads on it. That thing is ready to run for another couple 100,000 miles. Put some oil in it, put some heads on it, and let her rip. This is after hundreds of thousands of miles, and there's nothing wrong with these grooves. Look at this. Absolutely pristine. Little carbon buildup, we can scratch that off. Absolutely stunning how smooth these are. Kudos to the designer of this engine. What a masterpiece. All right, since I'm going to be replacing this lifter trays, I don't think they need to be marked anyway, but I'm going to throw them in a box and keep them as backup because I will be building a race car after this. So I do want to get into some actual racing. I was inspired by Sick Week, Cletus McFarland's channel. That stuff looks killer. So I went drag racing. It's actually the first video I did. And ran into a guy up there that had the sticker, Sick Week 2025, and I talked to him for a while. They do one up here in Appalachia. So I think it's this October, so I'm not going to make it, probably not make it this year, but I'm going to really try to make a point to go the next few years. I'll take 1 year at a time, obviously. But I might even end up taking my car, because my car is pretty quick. But I just don't want to break it because it's my day. Well, it used to be my daily before I finished the Suburban. Yeah, I'm going off of memory here, but one of the things that they say to upgrade is LS7 lifter trays. I don't know what that means. I don't think this is an LS7, and they're plastic. That's my one major gripe I have. Why would they put plastic trays in this beautiful motor? That really pisses me off. But they allegedly work, so Having some backups is not a bad idea, because the Suburban that we're building now, that will end up probably being the tow vehicle for the race car. I'll get a trailer of the race car. So I can't go through every detail, but I got big plans. This is just the beginning. Now I think these lifters do need to be in a correct spot. Dang it. Actually, I've already got the bags, so cool. Yeah, the lifter trays, it doesn't matter. They come out exactly how I thought they would by watching other people take them out and put them in. Literally identical to what I expected. It's insane. Well, maybe I won't be taking out the lifters. Dang. I don't know if there's something keeping them down there. Thought they just dropped in there. Maybe some pliers, needle nose pliers. Let me go over to my professional mechanic toolbox. They're in this drawer. See, I'm a real mechanic. That's why I knew where they were. These are slightly different from the 70s, 80s, and 90s I used to work on. They didn't have that roller. It was just a solid piece, and in the inside they had a spring and filled it with fluid. That, I think, is pretty close to the same, though. That roller, I like that. All right, I'm gonna get bagging. The tedious part. Let's see, that's driver. We'll start with number 1. You know what? Let's not. Let's start backwards because I have everything lined up the other direction. See, number 8. Number 8's right here. We can just work backwards and flip them over. Yeah, let's do that. Actually, I bet the lifters do matter because they're on the cam, but I'm doing a new cam, so it probably doesn't matter. I have legitimately spent more time zipping these up and unzipping them than I did getting the actual part out of the engine. All right, there's a decent chance that this 3/4 ton drive shaft will be sufficient for my 600 or 700 horse. So I'm gonna put new U-joints in it, even though these look good. I'm not gonna go through this whole build and just put some old U-joints in. So I'm not so much worried about those, but I do want to get this cleaned up and at least stop it from rusting more. And so I'm just gonna clean it off with this Scotch-Brite and then rub it down with some Earl. I think those sanding discs, I think you can use those, but I don't have them set up right now. It's actually set up for grinding. I don't want to grind it. That literally probably rusted in within a day or two. That's bare steel. Like that bore, if I were to degrease that engine and go eat lunch, it would be rusty when I came back. Ask me how I know. You know, I'm pretty sure WD-40 will be good on this, so I'm gonna, since I'm keeping it inside, I want to test it out and make sure it does work. I need to count these splines too, because I believe that's actually consequential. It's either 31 to 33, somewhere in there. Okay, it says Spicer. I've heard of that. I don't know if they're good or not, but I've heard that name many times. I will be replacing the input and output shaft on the 4L80. That's why I need to know. So, last thing. I don't know the length of all this stuff. The drivetrain underneath the Suburban, I don't know if it's going to fit. So I might have to shorten this drive shaft. After I shorten it, well, I'm going to have Mark King shorten it because I know he does that. I saw him working on one last time I went up there. I'll paint it with some good hardcore paint, like engine paint or something, just to keep it in good shape. All right, can't get much better than that. Part number Charlie 3-3-529er. It's a Spicer. 10104. 10104 for the yoke. Yeah, there's such a slim chance that this is going to fit. The reason I know is I had to replace my drive shaft on the Suburban. There were hundreds of different lengths. 53 1/4, 53 3/8, 53 3/4. It's endless. So the chances of that truck fitting this, it's not zero, but it's pretty low. But they are very close. This is a 98 and I've got a 96, same body style. That's a 3/4 ton. This what I've got is a 1/2 ton. So there are some differences, but there are also some similarities. All right, that's good now. All right, I'll pick a corner to put this and leave it. I'm not taking any chances. I'm going to spray these cylinder walls because they're exposed to the air. And this is the garage of my house, which is like the basement. And it's 100% humidity, so I'm not going to take any chances. Even though they're going to be bored, I want to spray them down. So I'm going to put something down on the ground. I've got some cardboard back there that I've been saving just for this. I knew I was going to be doing some projects. I didn't know exactly what, but I've been saving the bigger boxes. And not that nobody cares about this, but I was surprised at how little bit of space this entire engine took up. And if I put everything together, it would look even smaller. 1, 2, and just that little bit right there. Obviously minus the block. And that is actually a good point. I still haven't taken the rods, pistons, and crank out, but still, you can get an idea. I could do 4 motors in here and not be crowded. Maybe 3. Yeah, maybe 2.5. You get the gist.